You're outside, walking your dog. At some point, it stops at a patch of grass and buries its nose in the ground. Just stands there, completely locked in. 10 seconds go by. 20. You give the leash a gentle tug and say, "Let's go." We all do it, right? It seems like such a harmless thing, but what you don't realize in that moment, your dog isn't just passing time. There is literally a chemical waterfall flowing through its brain, and when you pull that leash, you're not just separating it from a smell, you're pulling it away from the happiest hormones its brain can produce. In this video, we're looking at 7 things you can do for your dog that cost you absolutely nothing but mean the world to it. And I'm not just going to tell you, do this. Dogs love it. For each one, we're going to look at which hormones it triggers in your dog's brain and how the happiness neurochemistry actually works. If you apply these 7 things, not just your dog's love for you will change, its whole relationship with life will change. And fair warning, by the time you reach the last one, the way you touch your dog on the couch in the evenings will never be the same. But first, let's start with that patch of grass. Point 1, sniff breaks and dopamine. Your primary sense is sight. You experience the world through your eyes. Your dog's primary sense is smell. A dog's nose contains around 300 million scent receptors. We have just 6 million. In that patch of grass, there isn't just one smell. There's an entire story. Who passed by? Were they scared? What did they eat? What time were they there? And your dog isn't just sniffing. It's reading the world. And here's where it gets really interesting, because what's happening isn't just physical. Research from the University of Bern in Switzerland showed that when dogs are allowed to sniff freely, their blood cortisol levels, the stress hormone, drop significantly. And more importantly, when they analyze and decode a scent, their brains release a small burst of dopamine. A dog that's allowed to sniff is a dog that understands the world, feels in control of its environment, and has a brain that's chemically settling down. Every time you tug the leash, you're cutting that process short. The fix is simple. Add sniff breaks to your walks. Just stop. Wait 2 minutes. Let the leash go loose. Let it read. You'll go home with a calmer dog. Point 2, the brain's reward center. You asked your dog to sit. It sat. You smiled, said good job. Then you reached into your pocket, found the treat, pulled it out, and gave it. 4 or 5 seconds total. What's the big deal, you might think? But here's what you might not know. Your dog has only a 1 to 2 second window to connect a reward with the reason for it. If the dog sits, then 3 seconds later starts sniffing the ground, and you hand over the treat right then. The brain links that dopamine hit to the sniffing, not the sitting. Behavior scientists call this the reinforcement window. Missing that window creates constant confusion in your dog's head. What exactly did I do to get that reward? The secret to rewarding your dog isn't just what you give, it's exactly when you give it. When the reward arrives on time, the dopamine in the brain peaks, because the dog feels like it's figured out the world. I did this, and that happened. That certainty gives your dog massive confidence and joy. The third thing I'm about to tell you is the one dog owners miss most often and make their best intentioned mistake with, because comfort is involved. Point 3, dogs are programmed for work, not comfort. Why did we start believing that a dog's life should be as easy as possible? Food ready and waiting, soft beds to sleep in. But in every dog's DNA, whether it's a big shepherd or a tiny terrier, there's a drive to work, to have a purpose. Guarding, tracking, retrieving, alerting. They were bred for this for thousands of years. And when a dog's brain has no problem to solve, it fills with cortisol. That absence of purpose turns into anxiety, unnecessary barking, chewing up furniture. And according to American Kennel Club data, dogs that aren't mentally stimulated show behavior problems at dramatically higher rates than dogs that do regular cognitive tasks. Mental work tires the brain far more than physical running. Put food inside a puzzle toy, make it sniff out the answer, run training exercises, not because it needs to obey you, but because its brain needs to solve that challenge and feel the dopamine of mission accomplished. Point 4. What happens when you leave and come back home? You walk through the door. Your dog is losing its mind, circling, jumping, whining. It missed you so intensely it can barely hold itself together. So you lean down and match that energy. My baby, you waited for me. 'Cause honestly, being loved that fiercely feels amazing. But here's the problem. That ritual is not good for your dog. It's literally flooding its nervous system. Dogs are hypersensitive to their owner's emotional cues. When you match that excitement, you're sending a clear message to your dog's brain. Yes, me leaving and coming back is genuinely a massive, extraordinary emotional event. So if every departure and return is an adrenaline spike, what does your dog feel while you're gone? Research shows that one of the biggest triggers for separation anxiety is owners who turn comings and goings into big events. The greatest kindness you can show your dog is to stay calm when you come home. Not ignore it. Just hang up your coat, take off your shoes, and once it settles, engage quietly without ramping up the energy. This isn't coldness, and this is you telling its brain, me leaving and coming back is the most ordinary, safest thing in the world. If you're starting to see your dog differently right now, please like the video and subscribe, because our goal is to tell their world from their perspective. Point 5. Silence. For us, silence means peace, calm, but evolutionarily for dogs, silence signals danger. In nature, sound suddenly cutting out, no movement anywhere around you, means predators are close. When you're home, there's your voice, your footsteps, the TV, kitchen sounds. Every place with your sounds is safety to your dog. The pack is here. But when you leave and everything falls deathly silent, dogs don't read that as peaceful. They read it as absence and threat. There's a very clear experiment conducted by the Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in Shelters. When quiet classical music or a soft human voice, like an audiobook, was introduced into the dog's environment, their heart rates visibly drop, pacing back and forth decreased, barking decreased, their nervous systems anchored to that sound. So leaving the radio or a calm TV channel on when you leave your dog alone isn't just for distraction. It's one of the most scientifically sound, caring things you can do to soothe its heart rate and autonomic nervous system. Point 6. This one is so free and so simple that you'll see results immediately, getting down to eye level. Think about most of your interactions with your dog. You're standing, it's on the ground. You bend down and pet its head. It looks up at this giant human above it. In dog body language, height and size signal status, and sometimes threat. Even coming from someone it loves, a hand descending from above makes them instinctively shrink their shoulders slightly. The only way around this, sit on the floor, get down to its level when playing. Just for a moment, let go of the physical advantage and communicate from the same level. When you sit down, notice how your dog's shoulders drop, how its tail wags in an entirely different, much looser way. This is a small but enormously powerful biological signal that shuts down the threat center in the brain, the amygdala, and creates complete openness in your relationship. This is the loudest way to tell them you're no threat without ever using a word. And the 7th and final point. At the beginning of the video, I told you that after hearing this, you'd never touch your dog the same way again. Here is that chemical truth. When a puppy is born, it's blind and deaf. It perceives the world in exactly one way, through touch. It learns what safety feels like when its mother licks it clean, stimulating its circulation and waking up its nervous system through that physical touch. Those maternal touches received with eyes still closed leave a neurological imprint that stays in the nervous system for life. How do we love adult dogs? We pet their heads, quickly scratch behind their ears. These are lovely things, but they don't decode that deep, foundational safety signal. Jen, if you want to bring back that pure oxytocin feeling stored in your dog's brain, you need to touch it the way its mother did. Slow and rhythmic. At the peak of the skull, right where it meets the spine, make gentle circular movements with your fingers. No rushing, just long, calm strokes. You'll see your dog exhale heavily through its nose, its jaw stop clenching. It might even make a small whimpering sound. That's not complaining. That's the sound of its nervous system releasing tension it's been holding for months. With that touch, you're shutting down its amygdala and telling it, I'm here and you are completely safe. You're calling back the feeling of absolute protection it felt from its mother in its earliest days. 7 simple things, rewarding within 2 seconds, being patient while it sniffs, staying calm when you come home, leaving a sound when you go, sitting on the floor to meet its level, giving it something to think about, and touching the memory of its first safety. They're just quietly waiting for all of this. When you give them these 7 kinds of love, your dog doesn't respond because it's well trained. It bonds with you with its entire chemistry. This isn't obedience. This is biology. You're not its leader. You're its entire world.